Hi, Steve.
Hi, Jim. So, today, are we going to do the record store day list?
The April one? That's old news, Steve. I've got word that the Black Friday list is coming out in a couple of weeks.
And hello and welcome to Two Guys Talking About Records, the Vinyl Community Podcast, where two guys, one who's freezing cold right now because it's only going to be 14 degrees, and the other one who's a record collector where it's going to be 62, Jim. Sorry about that. But we're here to talk about records. I am Steve, the record collector.
And my name's Jim, and I own a record store, which will try to stay warm depending on how long we go. I had to turn the furnace off, but yeah, what are we looking at here? 4 degrees today, Steve, in sunny Michigan.
Well, at least the sun's out. That's what counts.
That is important. Yep. One quick thing we should clear up, folks. That was a joke about Record Store Day Black Friday. Please, it's just yeah. Sorry, Steve.
Oh,
it's just that the regular April list, boy, that took us by surprise this year, didn't it?
Well, I guess they want to build that hype a little earlier or get us to start saving up our shekels.
A little bit of both, I would imagine. I've got another thought on that. We'll get to that here in a little bit when we talk about the list. But just my musings as to far as why this came out so darn early, at least 2 weeks early, is what it feels like or seems like from my records over the past couple of years. It's always been really mid-February-ish, maybe a little later, but not this year. And holy cow, it's a banger of a list, isn't it?
There was a lot in there. After I did some digging, I found more. I probably should never dig through those lists. I mean, just look at real briefly. I'll take this, let it be done with that. But no, you dig and go.
You had to go deep, didn't you? So
yeah.
Well, that's kind of the way it goes with Record Store Day. It's a lot of fun, but it is a lot of work. And you know what? The cool thing is, since we're going to talk about that on today's episode of Two Guys, I really do think that we're going to be one of the only videos in the vinyl community out there that goes into this.
Yeah, I think so. I haven't seen any other videos, so we are it. So this is it, folks.
In the scope of immediate gratification, we're about 3 or 4 days behind the ball on this one, unfortunately. But when we go through the list today, we'll have the added bonus of having a record store guy in the background, and I will be able to pass along some suggested list prices, which is usually a mystery up until the day of in some cases. Not everybody, but sometimes people are going, how much is that going to be? What's this going to cost me by the time I get through with this big list?
And then I wind up going to some stores on Record Store Day in Denver and going, well, that's not the suggested list price whatsoever. How much is that more?
That the key word, and from your days in retail, Steve, is suggested.
Yes, very much so. Thanks for the suggestion, by the way, but
we're going to do whatever the heck we want. So, okay, folks, but we will dig into the 2026 Record Store Day list coming up here in a couple of minutes on the podcast. But before we do that, and we're going to break down some interesting numbers on this too, by the way, Steve, we did some research, our due diligence.
Yes, we are, because you know what? We're about facts on this channel.
Right, darn it. But before we do that, let's dive into our new releases and additions, not new releases, the new additions to the collection. I'm already starting to get that Record Store Day brain going here, Steve. Holy smokes.
Yeah.
But additions each week to our ever-growing collections. That's what makes this fun. I've got a light week this week, with the exception of one album, which is a heavy album, but only a couple. So but you've got a few, don't you, as always?
I have a few. I just have to say, Record Store Day from Black Friday, I still haven't shown all my albums yet. So
wow, you need to catch up. They're sitting there waiting. It's going to be April, and then you're going to be a year behind.
That's how it works, man. All right. Let's just the big banger. I did a video on this already, but Miles Davis, the complete plug nickel. The one that I have the complete box set CD set of, but now it came out in vinyl. So, well, what was I to do? Be smart and save money and say, I already have the music. It's going to sound the same, or just get it because it takes up a lot more room. Well, that's what I decided to do. I'm not going to show all 10 albums, but the covers are like this. And each cover is different. They have a different color to it. It matches the inner part and black vinyl. This sounds really good. I mean, it was nice. This is it's his second quintet, the most famous quintet. And they take a lot of the songs that already been done, and they kind of reimagine it at the Plug Nickel in Chicago. Nice 44-page book comes with it, but 10 albums. Figure out the price per album. It's not too bad of a deal, but it's hefty.
And it is a break of your New Year's resolution not to add more box sets.
Yeah, but I'd like to say I made it a month.
There you go. But as far as the comparison goes, I mean, I think the vinyl will argue up and down with other folks and say, no, the vinyl sounds better. But it's whether it sounds better to me in a lot of cases is kind of beside the point, because it's just the mere fact that you've got this on vinyl and you've got that bigger book. I'm sure the CD set came with a book, but this one probably rivals that a little bit.
Well, yeah, this one I can now read it because the letters are big enough. So that's a big help.
But overall, you're enjoying having that big box set.
I am. Yeah, I am. Being, Miles Davis being my favorite artist, I felt, I'm just going to get it. I actually did think about that one though before I bought it. I thought about it, and it was for more than 5 minutes. So
you weighed the options, and then you weighed the box set when it came in the mail.
Yep. And I said, "Oh, what the heck?" I get my first Social Security check this month. Might as well just blow it on records. That's what it's all about.
Yep. Well, we'll talk.
All right. Well, on Jim's Jim on Saturday shows new records coming out, and he talked about the Mariachi El Bronx.
Oh my, yeah, that's right. They've got a new one coming out.
They got a new one, which I did order on their website because the vinyl's really cool on that. And I didn't know, will Jim get that or not? And then you show it. I'm like, really? Wow. I can't believe you did that. Well, this is their third album, Mariachi El Bronx 3. And it is so good. I saw a YouTube video of this group. And as soon as within 1 minute into that video, I says, I have to get this. I mean, it is mariachi music. It's just an inner sleeve with whatever, the lyrics. It's mariachi music for now. You have the wonderful mariachi horns, you have the guitars, you have all of that. But it's updated. The sound is updated. It is so exciting. I'm thrilled with this group. I like mariachi music, but I just don't know what to buy on mariachi music, Jim. Isn't like you see it all over. You go, oh yeah, that's the one I need.
Versus modern mariachi music to boot.
Yes, exactly. So modern mariachi. It's joyful, fun. Yeah, great stuff.
And their new album is coming out next week. I forget the name of that album, but I'm glad you were able to get a cool looking copy on pre-order.
Yeah. It has like a face in the middle of the colored thing. It looks pretty neat. So
we'll see that in a couple weeks, I hope.
Yes, and I bought a T-shirt to go with it. So yeah, because nothing like having a little mariachi T-shirt. This is an interesting one. Los Shanes Oceana 3. Los Shanes Oceana 3.
Wow. Okay.
It's Peruvian Psych from 1968. Because, again, how much you can never have too much Peruvian Psych in your collection. I saw this on another channel. The Vinyl Piper had shown it. He is really into Psych. I mean, but he'll go to find it an original and buy an original of it. While me, I'll just get the repress. But yeah, it's good. I'm enjoying this. It has a little South American flair to it with some of the instrumentation, but it's definitely heavy Psych coming out of Peru, the country known for
psychedelic rock.
What's it known? Psychedelic rock and Machu Picchu.
There we go.
So, yeah. Cool stuff. Had this come in from a friend of mine. He sent it. Isa out of Boston. He's been a watcher of my channel for years. Sent me a number of different albums. He sent me this, S.C. Rogie. And the name of the album is Dead Men Don't Smoke Marijuana. And that's a good point. They really don't.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's a true statement that we don't even have to Google to find out. This is it's really nice. It's a little more acoustic type African music.
Okay.
Got the sleeve. Obviously, he's not around anymore. He is dead. So this was his last album before he passed, and so he no longer smokes marijuana. But I'm enjoying this. It is, it's more folky African, but it's very updated. S.C. Rogie has put out a lot of different albums. So the final one here, I was totally unfamiliar with him, so it was really nice to get this, and I really appreciate it. So Isa, if you're watching, thank you. How about a duo? Have you heard of the Rose City Band?
I have not. No.
Okay. So I've shown the albums from the Ships, SHJIPS, okay? Then I showed Mono Duo, which was from the guitarist from the Ships.
Yep.
Well, that guitarist also has kind of country rock. And these are two of the albums. These were recommended. This one was recommended to me by a couple viewers. And, they said, man, you got to check this out. And so I bought, the Rose City Band, this one here. This one came out in 2019. And I loved it. It is psych country rock.
Huh.
I guess would be definitely psych type music in there, but you have that cool kind of country rock sound. It was, I've liked everything that is being produced, and I'm trying to think of the guy's name here, but I've gone blank again. Ripley Johnson. Ripley Johnson is the name of the guy, the guitarist. In fact, there he is right there. So I bought this and totally fell in love with it. I just thought that is some cool music. So then I bought the next one, which did come with rolling papers. I go, what is that? Is that like chewing gum in there? Seriously? I thought it's like a pack. Oh no, there's like marijuana. Oh, that's rolling papers. Got it. This kind of comes out, and there we go. This is a little more country than the other one, but it's just real good country rock. Man, blown away by it again. Just another. I seem to get excited about a lot of groups, I guess. But
cool, and that's all kind of interconnected with Mono and Ships.
Wow. Exactly. It's just this guy's busy, man. I don't know what else he has out there. The final one I got finally brought in. I got the third of the trilogy from David Bowie, Lodgers. I saved my vinyl for this one, but I've been looking for a good copy of it. And I got a good copy now, except I don't have an insert, which is sad, but good album. Not my favorite Bowie, but I like it, and I guess I felt I needed to have it. So, because I got lots of room to put stuff.
Yeah, of course you do.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that's it, Jim. I got a humdinger for next week, though.
Okay, we're looking forward to that. Well, on my side, only 2 editions, but I mentioned one of them's hefty. Let me lift this thing up. Not a box set, but Joe Bonamassa and his brand new one. It's a B.B. King Blues Summit 100, celebrating the King of Blues for what would have been B.B. King's 100th birthday. This thing is a triple LP that is just chock full of great blues and a lot of folks helping Bonamassa out. Let me just... Inside, it's one of those triple gate folds, so it's got a big fold with all sorts. Let me see if I can turn my imagery on here. Lots of great pictures of B.B. King in through there, including even like an older one showing B.B. King with a very young Joe Bonamassa in there. This also came with a booklet, and it's very hefty and pictures included in on that. Nice shot of BB on the back and lots of pictures and talking about all of the artists that helped out with this. But the folks included on this, and this is just a great blues album, Steve. Lots of guitar blues. But we've got the likes of Kingfish Ingram's on here, Marcus King, Michael McDonald, Susan Tedeschi, and Derek Trucks. Kenny Wayne Shepherd, Buddy Guy is on. That's all just side A, by the way.
Yeah.
If that's any indication of where this goes. Michigan's own Larry McRae, what a great guy he is. He is on here. Miles Kennedy, Slash, Eric Clapton, Chaka Khan, Jimmy Vaughn, Bobby Rush, Larry Carlton, Larkin Poe is on here, Eric Gales, George Benson, Gary Clark Jr., Ivan Neville, Paul Rogers is here as well. Let's see here. Train, Chris Buck, Kim Wilson. It's just full. And then the final Playing with My Friends. So this is a fantastic tribute to B.B. King. And I did a little reading on this too. And what I'd found from the website Blues Rock Review, they talked a little bit about this, saying that Joe Bonamassa and friends, that Bonamassa discovered that no other major tributes were being planned for what would have been B.B. King's 100th birthday. So Joe Bonamassa took it upon himself to curate what he calls a living legacy to keep King's music and memory alive. And so this grew into a monster project, concluding in this 32-track star-studded album entitled B.B. King's Blues Summit. This was produced by Bonamassa and Josh Smith, and the recordings were done pretty much monthly installments over a long time to culminate in this 32-track album. And Bonamassa explained that this was a tribute to his friend B.B. King. He'd known him for over 25 years, and a gentle, humble soul, and just kind of bigger than the music business himself. So this is, I think, just a very loving tribute. It's a great album. I've got to get through all of it, but man, there are just some great blues rock on here.
That's nice. Real cool.
Then the only other addition in the slow week was a Fleetwood Mac album that I think I knew existed, but not really. It's like, I don't remember seeing this. And this is Fleetwood Mac Behind the Mask. And let me get the right one pulled up here. And this was originally released in 1990, and it was the first album that Fleetwood Mac released after the departure of Lindsey Buckingham. He was kind of, well, did he leave or did he get booted, Steve? I'm trying to remember my history on that. Yeah. Either way, it's without him.
It depends on who you talk to.
Depends on who you talk to. So this still did feature Christy McVie, Stevie Nicks, John McVie, and Mick Fleet with the core and through there. But it brought in for guitars Rick Vito and Billy Burnett. And Rick Vito and Billy, both of those had a little more of a blues background and upbringing as well. So that brought a little of the flavor. This is still very much the pop rock Fleetwood Mac, but you can tell that there's some blues guitar coming and going throughout a few of those on this. But it's a great album. I think I knew it existed, but you know those things where I think I may have seen that before, but did I really? I don't know. Mandela effect, I guess. Either way.
And how is it?
It's good. I like it. It's not going to be up there with my favorite Fleetwood Mac albums, but it's definitely interesting because it's not stuff you've heard. It's Fleetwood Mac, but it's not stuff you hear, generally speaking. It's not going to be a rumors. It's just pummeled everywhere you listen and move. So it's one of the lesser ones that I'm going to enjoy now, having it back in. So what that means is that we are now the end of the segment where we're showing that stuff off. If you would like to listen in on a few of these things, here are a few of those B.B. King cuts. And hopefully I can find Peruvian psych rock on the there. We'll see if we can get that in there. But we'll put together a Spotify playlist, and you can find the link to that playlist in the description of the episode you're looking at, whether it be on the BLEAVE Network down in the description, or on the YouTube channel, or any of the other ones like Spotify and Apple. So you can click on that, listen to the music at your leisure, and hear what we are listening to. So now, Steve, let's turn our attention over to the Record Store Day 2026 list. It's early. It's awesome in a lot of opinions. What do you think?
I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled to death. Well, okay, let's not go quite that far, but it's not bad. Like other ones, it offers something for a lot of different people, which is why it keeps getting bigger, because there's another new genre. All right, throw it on the list.
Let's get it out there.
Let's go.
This did, as we mentioned at the top of the show, it showed up a couple of weeks early, just out of the clear blue. I wasn't expecting it really until mid-February or just after mid-February. as is typically the case, then all of a sudden I'm getting notes from folks saying, hey, the list is out. The list is out. So everybody's scrambling. You're trying to get the list posted up there to get stuff going and generate from our standpoint in the store. I mean, the real work begins now trying to determine what we're going to order. And videos like yours and the ones we're doing here today and any of the other myriad that we see on the vinyl community channels help us curate this. So as far as deciding what to order, a lot of folks are coming in the news, Steve, and I still get questions, can I pre-order this? Can I get a copy of that? I'm like, no, not really. You've got to put the legwork in because we're not allowed to hold or pre-order these things per the Record Store Day rules. But it's moving and it's here. So let's deal with it.
Yeah. So it's kind of like Steve Martin in The Jerk. The list is out. The list is out.
It's not a phone book, but the list is out.
Yes.
I've got my beliefs. This is not based on anything, just me, as far as why this dropped a little earlier. And I think with Black Friday last year, and I'm trying to remember a year ago in April of 25, Black Friday especially, it felt like we were cutting it very close. Do you remember me kind of pulling my hair out as we led into the Black Friday event saying, I haven't gotten any of my shipments yet. I literally got them 2 or 3 days before Black Friday in some cases, maybe the week before. And that makes it tough on small stores. It was really, we got it done obviously, but it was just a real kind of go around. So I'm wondering if this early drop of the list, in addition to trying to get that hype up a little bit, as you mentioned, is to also give a little bit more pad time for the stores to order from the 2 distributors. We talked with Ken Norton from All Media Supply a few weeks back to try to get those to the distributors earlier so the distributors can get those and just basically give a head start to the process, so to speak, to make sure that smaller stores don't get hosed as we get closer to the event.
Well, yeah, there's probably more record stores each and every year. Right now, I mean, they're still popping up. You do hear about some closing, but there seems to be a lot more opening. I mean, I've just found that in the Denver area. It's like another new one. And they all want to try, most of them, I'll say, want to try to get on Record Store Day. Not all of them.
It still is a process. It takes a little bit for them to get the pledge put through, but regardless, the list is here, and the buzz in general is good, I think. There's a lot of folks talking about how this list is, I don't want to say redeeming, but is definitely a lot more interest ginned up than previous lists. What we did leading up to this, Steve, and Steve and I were kind of working on, let's look at this list, but I want to make sure we're giving out some list prices as we cover the things that we're excited about. But also, we wanted to break this list out number-wise because it does. Every year it seems like, oh, man, it seems like there's a lot of live albums. It seems like there is a lot of picture discs. And so we asked our good friend Grok AI, who helps out here at the store once in a while, to look at the list. I fed the Grok AI the list. I gave him the PDF. I gave him the website. And I said, look this over. I'm going to ask you some very specific questions. And Grok was most accommodating in that. So here's the breakdown for those of you who are curious. Steve, I forgot, what was the overall? It was 300 and some releases coming
346. 346 releases.
346 releases in total. So what we did was kind of break that down because it always seems like there is a lot of live albums. But let me back up a bit first. For those that are new, when it says Record Store Day exclusive, that means, I'll put the air quotes out there because it's not.
Yeah, thank you.
Record Store Day exclusive means that is the only time that this record will be released, is on this Record Store Day. They are not going to reissue it. Pinky swear promise down the line after everybody goes nuts for that. Right.
At least in that color vinyl.
At least in that. The Record Store Day first means that it will be reissued, in some cases very, very soon after Record Store Day. Mm-hmm. I've seen some come in within a week or two after Record Store Day on the reissues, but not always. And then the limited run or regional focus items, which means that there are these super small presses that are targeted for release in certain demographic areas of the United States. And I should mention, too, that Record Store Day is predominantly a United States and Canada event. There is a Record Store Day UK event, but that's pretty much it. Those of you watching and listening from other parts of the world, have been dealing with this now for over a decade, so you know how that plays out mostly. All right, my numbers, Steve, showed that there are 209 Record Store Day exclusives on this year's list, 79 Record Store Day first releases, which will be reissued, and 58 limited runs. I didn't do the math on that, but that's what the AI said. So those numbers may or may not be absolutely correct based upon the number of releases, but that's what it kicked out when I asked for the roundup.
Okay, yeah. So 60% of all the releases are going to be exclusive, and that's not bad. I mean, I think that's pretty good. I thought. I always thought there was more first, but first was only 23% of Record Store Day first. It seems like a lot of times the albums I buy, it's a first. No, well, I want it now. I want it now. I don't want to wait for 2 weeks.
And there's no guarantee that the first typically will be a bit of a different vinyl color, maybe a different variation of it. So either way, that's kind of the breakdown on there. Now, there are a few CDs on here as well and a few non-music items. We'll talk about those. I'm rolling my eyes at that one. And then there's those 3-inch records from the Stones. But okay, so now the breakdown inside, we asked for kind of a rundown because, again, Steve, like always, it seems like, man, there's a lot of live albums. There's a lot of live albums. 79 live albums, according to our rough count on this, in this year's list. Does that seem like a lot to you?
When again it's broken down, that's 23% of all the records. Just think, almost a quarter of all the records are live. But I think, we've talked about this before as records, they're trying to find something for these collectors because they got all their albums. How can we bring them back in? Give them a live album. And with jazz, there is so much live jazz that's out. I mean, they seem like they recorded everything. Which you're going to find in here. It is filled with jazz live albums. But for a jazz collector, I think a lot of times the live is good because they're doing different things with the songs, which is what a jazz collector likes. And sometimes in rock, we don't want them to mess around with the dang song. Yep. That's not what I heard on the radio. What the heck are you doing?
Some of the jazz live albums, they put Air, Moon Safari, and jazz. I don't know if that's absolutely... I don't know if that's right in there. Chet Baker, Tony Bennett, Coltrane, Don Cherry, Bill Evans, Roy Hargrove, Ahmad Jamal, Yusuf Lateef, and Mal Waldron in there, amongst some of those jazz live albums. So yeah, they're kicking out a few. So I guess that's not bad. 79 out of the 300, the 20, what'd you say, which percentage, a quarter?
23% are going to be live.
The other thing that always kind of kicks through is, oh man, there's a lot of picture discs. It always seems like there's a lot of picture discs through here, or a lot of zoetropes has been the current fad. According to our count, there is around 23 picture discs this year, and 4 of those 23 are zoetrope.
Yeah. So it's not very much at all. I mean, that's less than 10%. You can still find them, but I think to me, I felt like there used to be more. Cure did. I don't think Cure put out a picture disc this year, did they?
They did not. And I want to talk about the Cure releases. This is an interesting one. I've got a take. Steve.
Okay. All right. But for once they didn't have a picture disc. And Dio's dropped out of the picture disc race a couple record store days ago. Yep. So I guess they must have been done with them. So yeah.
The zoetropes on there. There's a George Harrison zoetrope, a Bluey zoetrope for you kid fans, Bluey. I forget what the other two. Oh, there's a Peter Gabriel zoetrope on there too, a 12-inch single zoetrope, which is kind of interesting. So that's kind of the overall breakdown. Let me try to see if there was any other numbers that we gleaned out of that. The number of 7 inches. Okay, that is that's another one, huh, Steve? Looks like there are 23 7-inch releases, at least.
Boy, it seemed like there was more when I was looking through there. 7-inch. I saw a lot of the 7 inches were on the newer artists too.
Yep. You know what? I've got a correction before we get corrected in the comments. I put 23 picture discs. There are 10. I was looking at the wrong line.
Okay. All right.
10 picture discs.
Yeah, that's not many at all.
Okay. Yeah. So I apologize, folks. That I looked at the wrong line. It's the 4 degrees messing with me, Steve.
Yeah.
So 23 was the number of 7-inch releases. And box sets, I think that this is way off. The AI said there was only 3 box sets. I don't believe that's true. I think there's a lot more than that in through there. It was basically trying to count through the general description and not diving too deep into that. So,
sure.
All right. Well, what do you say? We head into the list, and we'll kind of talk about what we're looking for, and mix that in with what we think some of the bigger titles are going to be this time around. But let's head over to the Record Store Day website. If you would like to take a look at this, by the way, it just is at recordstoreday.com. Very easy to get to, and you can navigate through a PDF or just the regular web one like I am doing here. So how do you want to do this, Steve? Just alphabetical and kind of zoom through the list in our time?
Yeah. Let's just do that. And I guess my first one, I was curious, is the Chet Baker. He has 2 different ones, and there's only 1,000 of each, which doesn't seem very much because Chet Baker, a lot of people just love. He does have a smooth trumpet. San Francisco, West Coast jazz.
Okay.
I just wonder kind of what that's going. What's that going to go for?
Chet Baker, let's see, the Live in Japan, they are doing 2 different versions of that, according to what I'm looking at. Nope, I think it's just in here twice. No, I take it back. There's a Live in Japan Volume 1 and Live in Japan Volume 2 from Chet Baker. Looks like those are coming in at $51 suggested retail price for each of those.
Whoa.
So
wow.
That's up there a
little
bit.
Are they 2 LP?
Yes, they're each double LPs. Let me see if I can get to the Chet Baker. We can see what it looks like. So yeah, they put out this Volume 1 and Volume 2, which this is weird because that's typically what European bootleggers do with the live bootlegs that they put out to try to get you to buy a couple different ones. These are Record Store Day limited run regional focus one, both of them. So there's only going to be 1,000 each. That is going to be a tough get, Steve.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, $50 for double set. Yikes. But I think that will be a good one. If you're a jazz fan, I think that would be an important one.
Would be. You completely skipped over Aha, by the way.
I was going to ask about, I do not have Aha Analog. I don't even know about Aha Analog. What is that going for, just in case?
I have no idea.
Edition.
2,500 copies, a Record Store Day exclusive. This was their 8th studio album, released in 2005. So to tell you the truth, I don't know too much about that one either. Let's see here. The Aha is going to list for $35, right around there.
For 2 LPs. Chet Baker, $51, and for a live, and this one, wow, okay.
There you go on that. All right, where do we go next?
Camper Von Beethoven is putting out Tusk.
Okay.
Fleetwood Mac's Tusk.
A couple of different Fleetwood Mac things. Yes, hang on. Let me get over to that. That's an interesting take. I had not heard of this before either. The Camper Van Beethoven.
Me neither.
Doing Tusk. Their gloriously unhinged take on Fleetwood Mac's 1979 album, appearing on vinyl for the first time as an RSD exclusive. This is also a regional run, 1,000 being pressed from the label Cooking Vinyl. I'll tell you what, that's going to be a tough one to find as well. Let me get over to my list. I've got too many windows open here, Steve. I apologize. And I'm moving back and forth trying to get them. Let's see. Camper Van Beethoven is going to come in at a list price of $52 suggested for that double LP.
Okay. Unhinged. I like that. It's their unhinged take on that.
They are unhinged on their own. Looking through some of these earlier ones, I wanted to mention 2. Art of Noise. Typically, people will remember them as Close to the Edit. Close to the Edit. Mm-hmm. This is a double LP, and I gave this a listen. I was unfamiliar with this. Their 5th and final studio album from Art of Noise, released in '99. Discogs calls it ambient and electronic music. It's got this tone of classical to it, almost like an opera singer in some of the cuts. And then there's even a rap song in the midst of this. All of this kind of being this mix of neoclassical and electronic, which Art of Noise has
Okay.
always been kind of on that cutting edge weird. So that's an interesting one. I don't think that would be on my list right off, but I thought I'd call that out because if you see Art of Noise, you're thinking, oh man, it's going to be this 80s oddness, but it's
Yeah.
not in this case. $50 is the suggested list price on
Wow.
that one.
I used to have that CD. I remember when I got it, I put it on and go, huh? What? this isn't what I was expecting. And I put the CD back in and I never took it out again.
Wow. Are you familiar with the band Baby Metal at all?
No, I'm not. Baby metal.
Baby
Okay.
Metal is out of Japan. This is a mixture of heavy metal and J-pop. And it seems to work.
God.
I've had a few folks ask for this in the store from time to time. 3,000 of this being pressed as an RSD exclusive. Not my cup of tea, but I think that there's some interesting things in there. Baby Metal looks like that's going to be about $28. One of the live albums from them.
I think a lot of people that watch this would be interested in that Cream Wheels of Fire live at the Fillmore. It's a 3 LP set.
Yes, they just reissued a Cream, or just issued a Cream live at, they did another live, I think, just about a week or so ago. Let me get to Cream here. Yeah, the Wheels of Fire triple LP. The third album features the original 4 tracks released, as well as Wheels of Fire live at the Fillmore. So this is an expanded edition of Wheels of Fire. Okay, 7 additional tracks were issued on Live Cream and Live Cream 2. So it's kind of a mixture of all of those. That's interesting. I did not catch that. Looks like that is on black vinyl. And for a triple LP, Cream is going to set you back at the $40 mark, which is, it seems rather reasonable.
That does seem rather reasonable. Wow.
Now
okay.
we skipped over one that this is probably the only thing that I'm really going to be interested in, and I don't know how I'm going
Collective
to do.
Soul.
Which one?
Collective Soul?
No.
Did I get it right?
No.
Oh, okay.
Stuart Copeland of the Police and a reissue of the Rhythmatist. I have an original copy of this. This is such a cool album. It's a departure from the Police. It's Stuart Copeland's attempt at world music of sorts. This is being reissued for the first time since its original release and celebrating its 40th. It was a project that he undertook after touring Africa and recording music in Africa. So, following the break of the Police, drummer Stuart Copeland took this musical odyssey through the heart of Africa in search of the roots of rock and roll. Originally released as both a film and an album in 85, it preceded the release of Graceland by Paul Simon in 86. So he did beat Paul Simon to the use in his pairing with Lady Smith, Black Mambazo in that. So this is cool. It's coming on blue vinyl. It is only a 1,200 pressed RSD exclusive. That's going to be a tough get, I think, because of this. So if you know this album, you know this album. And I think the people that do are going to be rather interested in picking that up. $34 looks like it'll be the list price on that Stuart Copeland. But that's one of the ones I'm excited about.
Good. Yeah, that's a good album. Right above that was that Alice Cooper picture disc.
Yes.
What do you think how that's going to do?
That is going to be a big one. That is going to be, in fact, in our breakdown, talking about some of the limited run hits that are going to be most in demand. This one, when Alice Cooper released The Revenge of Alice Cooper, this was the reformation of the original Alice Cooper band, not just Alice as in Alice himself, but the Alice Cooper group reunion album from last year. They put that out as a indie exclusive and a black vinyl. The indie exclusive didn't even make it to stores like ours, and I think very few stores got copies of it because it was mostly sold through their website, and I don't think they pressed enough. I had several pre-orders. We were never able to fill. The black vinyl was scarce to get that as well. That's going to translate into this one being a tremendously in-demand release as well. The Alice Cooper limited picture disc pressing of the now infamous reunion, 1,000 of them being pressed as a Record Store Day exclusive. So that is a low number. And I have to go back up to the A's. They list this one under A because it's Alice Cooper and not Cooper, Alice, right? That one is going to come in at a list price of about $45. But that, I'm going to put that down, Steve, as one of my predictions for hardly anybody's going to get it, and everybody's going to want it, and it's going to jack up
Yeah.
in the aftermarket tremendously. So that's going to be a tough one.
Okay. So, kids, stand in line.
Yes,
You know,
for the coupe.
yeah, for the coupe. You want that 6 p.m. the day before. Park it.
And hopefully
you might get it.
Michigan will be above freezing by then.
The Cure's on there, Jim.
Yes.
There's 2 Cure albums.
Cure albums.
Well, tell me about that. What is your get off my lawn thoughts on this?
Greatest
Jim?
hits and greatest acoustic hits from The Cure. These were released several years ago as regular albums, and now they're coming out as a Record Store Day exclusive. So my question is, if this is strictly a reissue of something that came out before, because they're putting it on silver vinyl now, is it? Yes, it could be an exclusive. The silver vinyl will be a limited run exclusive, but I can still actually order these, I believe, on their original pressing from a few years back. And there's 7,300 of them coming out on the regular Cure Greatest Hits.
Wow.
And the acoustic hits is coming on silver bio vinyl, also 7,200 of those. They're cool albums. It's, any time you get a Cure compilation album that's got all their great stuff on it, it's a good album. But again, these things had been readily available for the past few years on black vinyl traditional. So for each of those Cure albums, we are looking at $40, $39.98,
Wow.
but we're doing away with pennies. So $40 roughly on each of those Cure releases for Record Store Day.
It's 2 LPs, so okay.
It is.
All right.
It is. We kind of skipped over one. The Charlie XCX is a 7-inch. I wanted to touch on that because that's another one that's going to be a big, I think it's going to be a big seller, one of the sleeper ones. But they're pressing, there's 8,000 of them. But for whatever reason, these newer artists, and they're putting out the 7 inches, they're being scooped up by new collectors. So this is called Party For You as a 7-inch single, ultra clear vinyl with an etched B-side. So when you say it's a 7-inch single, it quite literally is one song and one song only you're getting on that. And for that 7-inch with the B-side, it is going to come in at $17. Could be a fun one. That's one of my other predictions for a big release.
Yeah. Last spring, one of the big ones for Record Store Day was Dada. They put out that, Disneyland, which that was huge on my list to get, which I did. But now they're releasing another one, which honestly, I didn't know Dada had more than one album at the time. This is kind of, they're still out there, but I guess this was their third album, El Subliminioso.
We'll have to get that translated. This one, Steve, looks like it is a regional focus, limited run, only 900 being pressed. So if you thought the other Dada album was tough to get, this is a 30th anniversary, by the way. 900 being pressed, and does not say if it's on colored vinyl. I don't believe it is. And that one you're going to pay for also $56 suggested list price on that Dada.
Well, just out of curiosity, right below that, there's that Miles Davis 10-inch mono.
Yes.
I'm kind of in the air on it.
10-inch records are always, they're a tough sell because you got to really be a collector to, you're a big Miles Davis fan, as we established earlier.
Yeah.
So that could be in the purview to celebrate his centennial 75th anniversary issue of his first album as a band leader, originally pressed on Prestige in 51, which means that the original of this would have been done on a 78 RPM 10-inch, most likely. So they're probably doing this as a 33 10-inch. So that Miles Davis is going to come in at $30 for that one, Steve.
Wow.
For a 10-inch.
Oh, my. Below there's one that has to be on your list. I see one that has to be on your list.
Okay. What's that?
Dr. Demento.
I thought about that. I have.
That's it? Just you thought about it?
I thought about it, and then I read the description.
All right.
I've got a lot of old Dr. Demento radio shows from my radio days,
Yeah.
and I do have that Dr. Demento covered in punk that was released probably 7 years ago or so as a triple LP. This is a 12-inch single with newly recorded stuff. So it's the physical debut of all new material from Dr. Demento, paired with newly restored and remastered material from 1980 that's been unavailable and out of print for decades. pressed on a limited edition 12-inch Get Demented. So it's 2 songs, Get Demented, and what I'm going to guess is a new version of Shaving Cream. So if you haven't heard that, it's such a fun song regardless, Steve. It is.
Yeah, I tried that well.
He fell in a big barrel of shaving cream.
Shaving.
Dr. Demento.
I was singing that to my grandkids, by the way.
Get him started right. For a 12-inch single, $23 is going to be the list price on there. It's cool. I don't know as if I'm going to jump on something like that. It looks like there's 1,500 of them being pressed, so that's going to be a tough get also.
How about that Def Leppard? There's always people asking for that.
There is. I'm not familiar with this. Slang was their 6th studio album, released in 96, which, that's that era in the 90s where there wasn't a lot of vinyl coming out. So for the first time, this record store day release being curated by Joe Elliott features B-sides and rarities from the time. So you get the album and you get the extra stuff on there. 5,000 RSD first. So that Def Leppard will be reissued at some point, and it looks like that's coming in at about $38.
There's one that I had marked. I'm going to look at. It's a little further down there. It's Marcolino di Monde. Marcolino di Monde. Buhuria. It's from, I believe, 71. It's salsa Latin funk. And a medium price for, if you try to get an original, goes for around $110.
$30.
It's fast paced. Yeah, $30. Okay,
$30
it's fast paced. It's not bad.
And this is also a record store day first. There's 1,350 being pressed as an RSD first. So,
it's a first. Okay, I didn't see that.
So zooming down, always big on the list, Steve, are the Doors. Looks like this is getting the Strange Days 1967 is getting kind of a demo. They're calling it a work in progress. So it's newly unearthed material from the band's sessions in 67. You know how I feel about these. This is okay. It's the stuff that maybe wasn't quite good enough to make the album, but for a big Doors fan, this is cool because it gives you an insight into their progress. $30 on that one. Looks like that is going to be an exclusive. 7,800 press. That should not be a problem for folks to get.
Yeah. Here's an interesting one that a lot of folks may not know about. It's called Euphoria. And the name of the album is A Gift from Euphoria. This is also very early 70s. It's country rock, it's psych, and it's folk. A original goes for a medium price of $190. There was a reissue in 2007 you can get for $55. I listened to some samples, and it's pretty cool sounding. It's not bad at all. But for those that like something, an obscure psych album, Euphoria probably is going to be the one.
This is going to be a tough get. It's a limited run, regional focus. 1,000 of them are being pressed. And the price for that Euphoria, Steve, comes in at about $36.
I've had a number of people mention John Frusciante.
Yes.
From the Red Hot Chili Peppers as being, it's alt rock. And there's a lot of excitement around that one.
There is, and I've even had somebody at the store ask about this. And when they found out it was on the list, they were quite giddy. So this is going to be... I'm going to put this down, Steve, as a sleeper, one of the sleeper picks for this time around, the John Frusciante. The album is To Only Record Water for 10 Days, you said? Let me get to my list here. 3,000 of them being pressed. Yep. It is an RSD exclusive, so not going to be a really tough get because it's a very niche album. It's going to be really for hardcore fans to get, and those that get it are going to love it. I don't know how many of those are going to be available, oddly, what the demand's going to be. But $35 is the list price looking at that. But I'm going to put that down as kind of a sleeper hit for folks that know, and they're going to want to get it.
Sure. Kind of like the one right below would be a sleeper. Gabby's Dollhouse, Ah Meow, Zing Music.
Okay. I can't tell you. I'm unfamiliar with that. Are they doom metal? Stoner rock?
I'm pretty sure it is for little ones.
Okay. I have no clue what that is. 1,500 being
pressed.
It's
a kid's album.
I would imagine that. Holy smokes, Steve. You got to really love your kids.
Yeah.
$51 is the suggested retail price for that one.
Oh, man. Oh, God. That's the thing. It's like the Bluey. You know what? Those prices can be high because freaking grandparents are, well, it's for my grandkids.
I got to get it or they won't love me. Jeez.
Yeah, I'm buying. You have to buy love sometimes.
Oh, Peter Gabriel is on here. Sledgehammer. I mentioned that this is interesting. It's a Zoetrope 12-inch single of Sledgehammer. Do you remember the music video for that? Very innovative
Yeah.
for its time. And supposedly this is it's going to give you the effect of that animated music video with the Zoetrope animation. So, but Gabriel's coming in, $25 for a 12-inch single Zoetrope picture disc on Gabriel. Interesting song and interesting, but that's got Sledgehammer, Don't Break This Rhythm, and I Have the Touch. So you get 3 songs on it.
I looked at that Gong Flying Teapot and I pulled up samples. I am not a Gong fan.
Okay.
I learned that.
That's a
no
limited run, regional focus, only 1,000 being pressed of Gong as well. And what is the price on that coming in? About $30.
I do want, and I will look for, is Gotan Project Best of. I have a couple Gotan projects. They have their, I can't think of the name of the album, but this one has Santa Maria. Santa Maria is one of the most wonderful electronic tango. That's what it's, electronic tango music, and I've been a fan. So it's a best of. All right.
It is a best of 1,200 being pressed exclusive. Zero information on the bio of that on the Record Store Day website. Looks like it's coming in at about $44.
Yep. If you're a fan of tango, you can't go wrong with that. If you're not a fan of tango, well, maybe you should be.
Of course, there is a Grateful Dead box set and a release of 5 LP Live Dead Boston Music Hall from 1976. Those are always good, reliable sellers. Folks like their Dead, and they collect that. $125. 6,100 of that Grateful Dead box set being pressed, so that should not be a difficult one to get a hold of. And I think I mentioned too, coming in at that $125 price mark. And then the other Dead is the On a Back Porch, Volume 3 for those that are collecting the back porch stuff from the Dead.
Cool.
Here's an interesting one, Steve.
Charlie Brown?
Yeah, I've had some folks asking about this. I'm not a huge follower or fan of Charlie Brown. I mean, I love the Christmas and all the other stuff, and I've never heard of It's Arbor Day Charlie Brown before this. Have you?
No, I mean, Arbor Day is big in Nebraska because that's where it started. But how many people go, it's Arbor Day? Oh, yeah. All right.
This is what's cool about this, though, is there's 2 pieces in here, and they're both shaped picture discs. The first one is a 10-inch 45 RPM baseball, and then it's going to come with a larger shaped picture disc of a baseball mitt. It's listed as a double LP, 5,000 of them, and a Record Store Day exclusive. For Charlie Brown fans, that's going to be, I think, an absolute must. They're going to want to get a hold of that. But the list price on that thing, Steve's coming in at about $51.
Oh, my. But you're right, collectible.
Very collectible. And one of the other Zoetropes we talked about, a couple of them actually, from George Harrison. There's 2 different ones, Dark Horse and Extra Texture. And Steve, I don't think that means you can feel the record up.
Oh, damn.
Each of those from Harrison, for those of you looking, are going to come in at about $37. This is 2 guys talking about records, Steve. So should we talk about this Hello Kitty and Ozzy Osbourne thing?
Yeah. Uh-huh. I didn't even see the Hello Kitty one. Okay.
Record Store Day. We now have handmade by robots, these stuffed little plush dolls showing up in the Record Store Day list. It says Handmade by Robots is thrilled to release the first figure in the Record Store Day series, RSD 001, the iconic Hello Kitty, wearing a Record Store Day t-shirt. Now, they say it'll be limited to just 2,000 units and never made again.
Thank God.
I guess that this is the next step in the evolution of let's get out what we can get out. $25. I don't think that's outlandish for those that want to collect that kind of stuff, I guess. But there's also an Ozzy one, and we might as well just scoot down to Ozzy here while we're looking. So you can see what the Ozzy one looks like at the same time, and it's really kind of the same thing. If you're into Ozzy Osbourne stuffed plushies, he's got really kind of a surprised look on his face, though.
Well, I would be too if someone made me into a plush. What?
So this is the second. They're calling it RSD 002, featuring the legendary Ozzy Osbourne. Only 2,000 of them being made. Same price, but the fact is, I think we can expect to see these types of things happening in record store day lists from here on out if they're going to start labeling them as RSD1 and RSD02.
Yeah.
Gonna happen.
If it sells, they will.
If it sells.
If it sells, they're going to do it. If it sells
will
out,
indeed sell. All right, let's get back to our alphabetical here. Anything else hopping through here?
Well, I'm the world's biggest Kiss fan. I have 2 Kiss albums, and I'm pretty excited about that. And a Kiss box set. I just want to point out I have a Kiss box set, Destroyer. But Kiss puts out a special Kiss tour album from '76, which is when I saw Kiss. So it was like, it's only like 4 songs, though.
It is.
I'm pretty sure the concert went a lot longer than that. I know they did more than 4 songs.
Maybe they just kept it going there. That one, by the way, is going to list at about $26. If you're watching this, the cover leaves a lot to be desired. It's just a white with text that says a special Kiss album for their summer tour featuring cuts for all formats. Now, that's probably not the final artwork. I'm hoping it's not going to be the final artwork, but we'll have to wait and see. There's going to be 10,000 of these, and it's going to be an RSD first. So
no
RSD huge issue on that. And I think I did mention coming in at $26.
Okay. Here's my one that I was not expecting that I'm actually kind of excited about. Mark Knopfler and Emmylou Harris, All the Road Running. An original of this at medium price goes for $294.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that is going to be an RSD first, 4,000 on the day being pressed. So that's going to be a tougher get, but it will be repressed, but probably not on that marble colored vinyl. The list price looking for the Mark Knopfler Steve's coming in around $46.
No, why? Oh, it's 2 LPs. Okay,
yep,
all right.
LP.
I'm not going to freak on it. All right,
okay,
very good. For one, it's like that last Brother Kane. I look back to crabby about that.
Now, I know
very good.
You've been on a bit of a Mark Lanigan kick of late. Did you see the Bubblegum original draft for Lanigan? What do you think of that?
Yeah. Original draft. I talked to someone that's very excited about it. Really big Mark Lanigan fan. They have an original of Bubblegum. I don't know if original drafts always just again. It's how big a fan.
Yep.
I don't see me grabbing it, but then come record store day, you go out there and you do stupid things. So
15, only 1,500 being pressed as an exclusive. It's going to be a tougher get, and it's coming in at a suggested list price of $45, Steve. It's a double LP though, also.
Yeah, which is a decent thing. Okay, I get that.
All right, cruising down the list a little bit further. We totally missed the Ariana Grande and Wicked. That's going to be another big one. I think folks will be interested in that. Bruno Mars is the record store day ambassador.
Going to be big.
That's going to be a big one. Collaborations from Bruno Mars. Doesn't look like there's any information on the record store day website. Let me see if I can call something up on my sources here. Lots of those being pressed though. 10,000 is where we're looking, and the Bruno Mars and Friends featuring, it's a compilation album featuring some of Bruno Mars' most iconic collaborations, featuring Uptown Funk with Mark Ronson, Die With a Smile with Lady Gaga, Rose, and many, many more. That one coming in at about $28. And as I mentioned, Steve, 10,000 or 11,000 being pressed. So that's not going to be a tough find for folks.
I saw The Modern Lovers is coming out in a picture disc.
Yes. Let's give me over there. Misfits, Famous Monsters, for those that are curious. That's on the list also. But let me get to the second page here for Modern Lovers. Yeah, picture disc, Modern Lovers. 3,000 RSD exclusive, and it's basically just a picture disc of the cover, which is kind of cool. The price on that, Steve, by the way, the Megadeth, no, we didn't talk Megadeth. Let me
Yeah.
scroll down here to the Misfits is going to come in at $25, by the way, and Modern Lovers Picture Disc is going to be $35.
Yeah, make Megadeth. You'll probably have people looking for that one.
Yep, I think that's kind of alternate takes there. There's a live Motley Crue 12-inch, 2,500 of those. That usually picks up a few there. Motorhead,
Yep.
On Parole, a Steven Wilson remix from Motorhead, and the Lost Tapes from Motorhead. Those are both going to be exclusives, 5,000 and 3,000. Should not be difficult to get. Let's see, $40 for the Lost Tapes and $25 for the On Parole, the Steven Wilson remix.
Okay.
He's really kind of moving his way into the metal now, it looks like, as well. He's moving away from the prog stuff.
Yeah. The Mooney Suzuki's a cool group, garage rock, and it's their 25th anniversary of that one. That one might be on my list to look for because Mooney Suzuki's pretty cool.
I'm sensing a pattern here, Steve. A lot of the stuff you're saying you're looking for, this is a limited run regional focus. Only 900 being pressed of Mooney Suzuki. And $41 is the price.
I'm just hoping that most of it's so odd that people, I don't know, why you want that?
What do you think of the Bob Mold? The Body of Song?
Yeah, it's cool. The 20th expanded edition. I just have decided, do I need it? Because we bought every box set Bob Mold ever made.
Yep. Limited run regional
but you get
focus.
the original artwork.
Yep. $41 on that. Limited run, only 900 of the Bob Mold as well. Coming through there.
There is the Ngozi family below that.
Yes.
Now, the Ngozi family is one that I will have to have because that's never been released before.
And I think I asked if you were consulting with the Record Store Day people on this list this year because it's got some of your garage rock and it's got the Zamrock on there. The Ngozi family, there's not a lot of Zamrock fans, so you should be able to get a hold of it. 2,000 of those are being pressed as a Record Store Day exclusive. And the list price, let me see if I can find it on my list here, comes in at $29.98, so $30 for the Ngozi family.
Primal Scream has their 1987 EPs. What's neat about that Primal Scream, those two EPs, it's very Paisley Underground.
Okay.
This is before they went all electronic into the dance. And those two EPs are pretty good. That one has my interest.
Primal Scream, Steve, coming in at $25, 3,500 of them being pressed. That probably is not going to be too tough.
No.
Hey, you skipped right over the Pink Floyd.
Oh my God, I did. 4 LP set. Tell us what a 4 LP. That's like a box set, Jim.
It is a box set of course, live from the Los Angeles Sports Arena, recorded in 1975. Contains 16 live recordings captured by the renowned bootlegger Mike Millard. Okay, I think I have some bootlegs of this, but this particular Record Store Day release has been lovingly restored and remastered by none other than Steven Wilson, who did a lot of the audio work on the Pompeii reissue. This is going to be another big release, I think, Steve. Even though there's 15,000 of these 4 LP box sets being pressed from Pink Floyd. There's a CD version of it also, but we don't need to talk about that. $84 is the list price for the 4 LP vinyl set on that Pink Floyd.
Right.
And going through this, there's some cool stuff, but it is a lot of Wish You Were Here, followed by a lot of Dark Side of the Moon. So this is another live version of Dark Side of the Moon that you got to add to your collection. But then they do kick in with a whole side H of Echoes, which nobody ever has.
Yeah, of course. What is a Pink Floyd concert without a side of Echoes?
This is great for, I'm going to break down and get one anyway, Steve. You know I will. So.
I know.
But it's stuff that we all already have, but it's going to be kind of cool. I'm assuming it's going to come with some extra goodies in there as well. Looks like it's going to be on clear vinyl, so I'm sure they'll put more extra stuff in there. But
I don't know, Jim. It's Record Store Day. They don't give you anything extra.
I do want to go out there and predict that that's going to be a big seller though too. So
yep. Well, they're better at 15,400 of them.
Yes,
I think that was the highest one.
One of the largest. Speaking of live, how about the Ramones live in San Francisco? Anything on that one that's intriguing?
No,
And
I'm saving up my money for the Rolling Stone 3-inch. Now, the Beatles 3-inch did sell out, and someone reminded me of that. They go, those Beatles sold out, and again, it's just that collector's thing. So Rolling Stone now
yep.
wants to get their money out of it.
So Crosley is putting out a 3-inch turntable with Rolling Stone stuff, and then several Rolling Stones 3-inch releases. Get off my cloud. I cannot, unfortunately, give you prices on these because that is from a different distributor, which we have not carried
Okay.
before. But there is another Rolling Stones one. They're reissuing Big Hits, High Tides, and Green Grass, the Japanese edition of that with the Japanese cover. Excuse me. That one looks actually pretty cool, and 3,500 being pressed on that. And then the Rolling Stones, that one's going to come in at $47 though, a little pricey. But yeah, the 3-inch ones are always they're interesting. We've never carried them in the store. I think maybe the first year I did, but that they're prove a little tougher to get because you got to go through a different distributor for us to get them. So
Sure.
something I haven't done. We'll see how many folks ask for it. So what else?
Sleep Token.
So that's
Liquid
okay.
filled.
That is going to be another big one, Steve. I will go out on a limb and predict. Let me call that one up here if I can find Sleep Token. It's a release called Caramel or Caramel. How do you pronounce that?
Where I'm from, we call it caramel, but
go.
it does look like caramel.
12-inch. It's just a 12-inch, and it's only got 2 songs on it, Caramel or Caramel on the A side, and Emergence, an instrumental version on the B side. 3,000 of these being pressed. They are liquid version. Now, here's the interesting thing. It says RSD first, but it doesn't say whether the subsequent reissues will also be a liquid filled or not. So that's kind of the big question for me on that one. But we have already got a lot of folks asking for that, Steve, and I think that's going to be a tough get for folks because of the novelty of the liquid fill that we've talked about.
Yeah.
And the just Sleep Token has always been kind of a, folks dig them as it is. Here's the thing, though. You're going to get 2 songs on a liquid-filled limited edition. $52 is the suggested list price for that one.
$25 a song, $26 a song.
$26
Think
a song.
about that.
And 3,000. Wow. But the collectability on that thing is going to be through the roof when this is all said and done.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, just think you bought a whole full album at $26 a song. Whoa,
pretty much.
Man.
Right.
Yeah. Joe Strummer and the Mescaleros is reissuing Global A Go-Go. I have an original of that, but that's a wonderful album. It has Mondo Bongo on there, which was on the movie Mr. and Mrs. Smith, which is where I learned about that album from that movie. I go, God, what's that cool song? Joe Strummer and the Mescaleros. So that was neat to see that that's coming out.
2,500 of that being pressed, about $40 on the retail side, Steve, for the Joe Strummer.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good album.
Talking Heads, where do you stand on those guys for this one? The CBS demos.
I bought that. I bought the last one, the demos. It was interesting. I haven't even showed it on my show yet. That's one of my record store days I haven't even shown yet. But as much as I love Talking Heads, I just don't think I mean, this is the really early stuff, that they're still trying to. So I don't need to know their creative process, Jim. I'm just going to take what they put out and said, that's great.
7,000 of those being pressed and $35 is where we're looking.
Wow. Okay. So, well, I'll pick it up after record store day if I need it.
In the bargain bins if you have to. Anything else in the teas before we get down to the various artists?
No, not much. I'm kind of running out. Jazz Dispensary has out, this time it's Brazilian music on Jazz Dispensary. Magia Brasileira.
And I know that there are folks that collect the Jazz Dispensary regardless, and so those are always kind of cool. Yeah. There's also a K-pop Demon Hunter soundtrack. K-pop stuff, the Demon Hunters is it's not kids' music, obviously, but it goes with a Netflix film or series, and there has been a lot of interest in this. This could be another sleeper hit coming through there. 10,000 of those being pressed on the K-pop Demon Hunters So here's another interesting one, Stephen, the various artists. It's called Just Tell Me You
Oh,
Love Me, a tribute to Fleetwood Mac. This is being
okay.
done by a variety of indie artists. I'm not very familiar with a lot of them, but these are all, it's an all-star indie rock tribute to legendary music of Fleetwood Mac on colored vinyl. Double LP, only 1,500 being pressed, but that one is an RSD first as well.
And last record store day, we kind of go Metal Machine music. Really, they're doing that. It did
Yeah.
so well. Volume 2 is coming out. Shows what we knew, I guess.
I saw that. Holy smokes. It's insane. Stepping off of the various for a second, there's a couple I wanted to talk about. There's a Violent
Yeah.
Femmes reissue, The Blind Leading the
Hmm.
Naked. This is their third album, not their best work. But this is going to be a neat collectible. I think the best song on this is a cover of T-Rex doing Children of the Revolution. 1,350 being pressed of the Violent Femmes Blind Leading the Naked. So that's going to be a tough get for those that really, really want it. I still have an OG of that, but
Same here.
it comes in at $26, but I don't think it's one of their biggest albums. How's that?
How's that? Well, there's a Van Halen from '86 and the Who also.
Yep. Van
Got
Halen
stuff coming.
live in New Haven, Connecticut from 1986, 5,000 being pressed, record store day exclusive. First time on vinyl, captures the band. Newly retooled lineup of Sammy Hagar, Van Halen, Eddie and Alex, and Michael Anthony. So let's see, the Van Halen looks like that's coming in at about $35. Okay, as we wrap up this list, I'm not seeing anything else that looks to be standard. There's an X-Mal Deutschland Sessions. How's that, Steve? For the
Goth rock.
German industrial goth rock fans out there,
Yep.
you can
Yep.
dive into
From
it.
'86.
3 LP from Yes, Tales of Topographic Tours, so live stuff, a live one from Neil Young, and the Chrome Hearts doing some live stuff. I don't know, Steve, what do you think? It's a big list with a lot of stuff on there.
Yeah.
Could be interesting. Is it going to be an expensive one for you?
Yeah, they always seem to be, Jim. I start with no, it's not. No, it's not. And then it just happens. And then you're out there and you're in that excitement of it all and go, well, just one more isn't going to really break the bank, will it? And you say that every record store you go to. So
Yep.
we'll find out.
So as we wrap up, we mentioned that we kind of tag this into our AI to have them have it look around at this. I asked AI to predict the in-demand titles this year based on low pressing numbers versus high buzz on what it's been reviewing from Reddit and YouTube channels, as well as bestsellers predicted for high pressing numbers and broad appeal. So the low pressing numbers with high buzz that they kicked out, they're saying, okay, Slipknot, Alice Cooper, Sleep Token, John Frusciante, Weezer, which we didn't talk about, Pavement, and Pink Floyd. Although Pink Floyd is not a low pressing number, so I don't know why they included that on there. But the high press numbers and broad appeal, we're looking at things like Fall Out Boy, the Wicked soundtrack live with Ariana Grande, Bruno Mars, Grateful Dead, Blur, Van Halen, Def Leppard, and The Cure on that as well. So we'll see.
Okay.
Do you have any other
Yep.
predictions for Record Store Day in general?
It's a good list. It'll bring in a wide variety of people again, which is what needs to happen on Record Store Day. And I am happy to see that we get all these newer artists for younger folks, though we don't have Taylor Swift.
Interesting take this time around. I mean, next time she'll come back with a vengeance. We'll see.
Yeah.
And
The day before.
it's much too early for me to tell. I'll kind of give you an update in the weeks to come as far as what it's looking like here at the store, how it's shaping up as far as the interest goes. And, we put the wish list out there so folks can tell us what they'd like to order. We're still in that process, so I haven't even begun to gauge what that's going to be like yet, but we'll see in the next week or so.
Yep.
Here we go again, Steve. You ready for a fun ride?
Yep. Yes. And the video's a little long, folks, but it's not our fault. There was 346 albums we had to look at, so not our fault.
Very curious. If you made it this far in the video, we're very curious to know what some of your picks are, what you're looking forward to. Are there too many live albums? Feel free to call that out in the comments. We would love to hear from you. And Steve, I'm looking at this now. Speaking of record store, I think I got to get going today. Get this up and running here for the non-record store day side of things.
Yeah, and also to get your heat turned back on.
I know. You see my breath yet here. So. All right, folks, you have been watching and listening to two guys talking at length about records and Record Store Day today, a vinyl community podcast. So until next time, my name is Jim, and I own a record store.
I'm Steve, a record collector.
Have a great week, Steve. Thanks.
Yep, you too, Jim. Bye, everyone.